Okay, activities. I think it's useful to consider. Maybe this isn't going to totally shape the place you choose to go, or maybe it is. Um, but it's definitely important that you have something to do in the place you're going to be living outside of your studies. Obviously, it's outside of your studies and kind of the sightseeing that you want to do. I know certainly a lot of places in Europe and maybe in Asia, you you might want to go there because it's popular on Instagram, for example, and there's a lot of sightseeing to do. But if you're staying for a month, sightseeing, one, you're going to see all the sights, and two, it's going to get old pretty quickly just going to see things and take pictures and stuff like that. So I think it's important, um, for many reasons, to have something to do outside of your studies. And a really useful, a way that this is really useful is honestly just to make friends. I think when you land in a new place, and certainly if you're going on your own as an edumat, it's good to have kind of a more natural way of meeting people rather than maybe, yeah, just going out to bars or maybe staying at a hostel, which isn't, certainly if you're studying, the maybe the most sustainable way to, or the sustainable kind of place to build your social life. So yeah, and also this is a great opportunity. This time, living in this alternative way is a great way to spend some big chunks of time learning a skill that maybe you've always wanted to learn, that you've just never been in the position to, both in your life and maybe even geographically. So yeah, this could be kind of an afterthought. Okay, I want to go to this place, but what activities are available there that I might want to pick up and learn a new skill or have some fun doing? Or you could look at this as, I want to learn, for example, I want to learn how to surf. And then you could shape your whole time away as an edumad around that activity and go to specific places that are really well suited to learn to surf. And then that's like a perfect, I mean, for me, I think that's really amazing. And that's what I did when I was away. My first stop was Morocco, and I spent 2 months learning how to code and surfing every day. And that's basically all I did. In those 2 months, I progressed so much in my surfing. Um, Sorry about that. So much in my surfing in a way that I know is really hard if you don't have that dedicated time every day for like months on end to progress. So So yeah, just a few ideas. As I said, there's kind of two ways you can approach activities. You can say, okay, I'm definitely going to a place. What activities are there? Or you can say, I want to learn how to scuba dive and maybe become a scuba dive instructor. Um, where can I go in the world where that's maybe cheap to do? And yeah, and I can still study as well and have some kind of social life and stuff like that. So yeah, these are just things off the top of my head that I think are really well suited to this lifestyle. Obviously, surfing for me, that was a really big thing. And when I first went away back in 2015, that was a big motivation to, yeah, go to Morocco at least as my first stop. Scuba diving, there's many places that are actually really cheap in the world to get qualified for scuba diving, kind of like entry level, and also to progress to a dive instructor. Thailand being a really popular one for that. Learning a language, obviously, going to South and Central America to learn Spanish for 3 6 months would be a really awesome way to learn Spanish while also being able to travel and also get your online studies done. Learning to dance. I know Tim Ferriss, actually, a big part of his book and what he did while traveling and working online, not studying, but he went to Argentina to learn whatever, Argentinian tango, I think. Is that what they dance in Argentina? Anyway, that's another one. Like, you could go to Cuba to learn salsa. Um, Yoga, of course, you could go to India, or Bali has a big yoga community, or there's many places in the world that you could go and do your yoga teacher training while also studying online from those places. And obviously, it's much cheaper to go and become a certified instructor in India than it would be back in the US, which allows you to go and do that kind of um, full time, rather than, maybe if you did it back at home, you'd have to spend a much longer time because you'd have to spread it out between work and your studies and stuff like that. And martial arts. So a really popular thing to do is go to Thailand to train in Muay Thai, which is basically kickboxing. And yeah, it's much cheaper to go there than to take those classes back at home. So yeah, just a few ideas for you there. And then yeah, how to find out about activities. The best way here, honestly, is just Google. I've done a few searches here that I can show you. Yeah, honestly, just as I said, there's kind of two ways you can approach activities. You've already picked the location and you want to see what there is to do, what activities you might want to pick up. Or I want to, for example, learn how to surf. Where can I go in the world where it's really cheap to learn how to surf and I can kind of live there long term while also studying online? So yeah, there's obviously stuff like this. Cheapest place to learn to surf, for example. And then there's loads of blogs and other websites that tell you exactly that. Here we go, the world's most affordable surfing destinations. Not a bad start. So here, there's just a short list of places that you might want to consider. Peru, and then it gives you some specific places in Peru. Portugal, where I am now, Ericeira, that's where I live. Mexico. So yeah, that's a great, if you want to learn how to surf, then you can use that as a short list to start kind of filtering locations that you might want to consider. Another one in terms of like location first, best place. So your cheapest place, or in this case, best place to learn to dance salsa. If that's something you're into. And then this one, salsaforums.com, best country to learn to salsa and have a fun vacation. Someone's asked a question. Cali, which is a city in Colombia. The guy, I think, has said Kiev. I've been thinking about Cuba, Philippines. Cali, Colombia, the world's salsa capital. So yeah, if you want to dance salsa, probably Cali in Colombia is where you want to go. Another search term, what to do in Canggu, which is the town that we take our tours to when we run them in Bali. And here there's a blog post, and obviously there's a list here. Some of them is like go to a bar or go to a market, but down here, surfing. So yeah, that's the kind of other approach. If you've already kind of got your heart set on a location, you can just do it that way and say, what is there to do in that location? And yeah, there may be activities that you can kind of pick up as a hobby or a sport that you can do long-term while you're there. And then finally, if you have a location and an activity in mind, you can simply, do a search like this. I mean, this isn't rocket science that I'm saying here. This is definitely the easiest way to do a little search on what activities there might be available to do in a place. So yeah, that's all I've got about activities as a quick one. Oh yeah, and if you want to dive deeper, so if you find somewhere and then you want to really learn how it works, then you can go back to the Facebook groups that we've been talking about quite often to search for specific terms about that activity. Like in Chiang Mai, you might want to learn Muay Thai, and then you might want to go in the Chiang Mai Facebook group and search for Muay Thai training or Muay Thai lessons. And yeah, you'll probably get some more detailed recommendations about schools or how to go about doing it, how much it might cost, stuff like that. So yeah, a quick one, but that's basically how to research activities.